Who knows Wisconsin has Latin dance? What?
Dancing for me is many things. It is a form of like meditation. It's like moving meditation, and there's so many benefits to it that I've gotten from dance. There's like a physical aspect, there's a mental, spiritual, emotional. I feel like dance for me stimulates me on every one of those levels.
The first class I took ever in dance, my mom enrolled me in a tap class when I was in grade school. And it was a surprise for Christmas. So I show up to tap class, and before you know it, outside of class, I was finding any big piece of plywood that I could, laying it down in my parents' basement and just tapping.
Well, I've always just liked dancing in my living room at home, going to the club with my friends. And I came to the Delaware House a couple years ago for physical therapy after my knee surgery. So I worked with Kathy, and I would come in here hobbling on crutches and see them dancing in the ballroom, and I said, when I'm better, I'm going to do that.
First of all, I think movement in itself, you know, it achieves something faster than words, and it shows things faster than word too. I have a degree in analysis of movement, and movement is evidence of who you are or what you lack, and your inhibitions too, or your self-trust. And I think dancing it's a great tool. Movement, it's a great tool for self-confidence and expression too.
I was in high school at the time, and I hear a drum, and I was like, oh my gosh. I got out of the class, and I didn't even ask for permission. I just wanted to hear this drum because I was like, that sounds like exactly like what we play in Panama. I was like, so that I got out and I picked my head up, and I was like, whoa, that really does sound like exactly what we play in Panama. And he's like, really? Do you dance? I'm like, yeah, I dance. And he's like, can you do something? Like, and I danced, and he was just like, wow. Like, I have seen many dances in my life, but I've never seen somebody like you at your age dance the way you were dancing.
I own the building that I work in, which actually is a wellness center, and ballroom dance studio, salsa studio, and my physical therapy practice. So for me, I've been dancing at a pretty high level, amateur, for the last 18 years. I've taken second in the US in both the American rhythm and the American smooth styles.
Funny, I started when I was about 5. My mom and dad loved to dance. So back then the dance you learned was polka and waltz. And my mom would mark numbers on the floor with feet and show us the dance. And then my dad would come home, and we'd stand on my dad's feet, and he would give us the rhythm of the music. And then they would take us out dancing to weddings or whatever. And it was just kind of funny because we would be like at a wedding, and my mother would go up and say to my Uncle Rudy, Linda would like to dance. So I'm like, and Uncle Rudy had to dance with his 5-year-old. It was just so funny. So, but I loved it. So polka and waltz is how I started.
The 3 dances that I started out learning was salsa, tango, and bachata, and each one of those dances has like a unique feeling that I attach to it. Like for instance, salsa, it's so fun and it's so free, there's lots of turns, and I just feel so happy when I dance salsa. With bachata, there's more of a sensual feeling. It's a little intimate, the music, I really connect to the music. I love the connection between the partners when I dance bachata. With tango, that's kind of a special dance for me. It requires a connection, and it's a little intimate, it's fun, it's playful, and when you find that connection on the dance floor when you tango, you get this high, and once you get that high, you just chase it, and you can have one high for the night and you are good for the rest of the night. It's a lot of fun.
And then in June of this year, I got diagnosed with follicular lymphoma, which is a blood cancer. It's a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so I started chemotherapy, did all that, and then after a few months I said, you know what, I'm gonna dance, because why not? And to be honest, it's been great for a lot of reasons. It keeps my mind off stuff, believe it or not. So ballroom dancing is a lot different than just dancing at the club. It's very technical. So I thought I had rhythm, I do not. It's just a whole new language, it's a whole new experience. It's very technical. So spending that hour just focusing on how I want to move my foot or move my body has been great, therapeutic, and kind of taking my mind off things a little bit. And also, I guess for me personally, when I'm moving, I feel better.
One day when I was waiting in line at the post office with my mom, because now I'm in elementary school, remember? So we're just waiting in line, and suddenly I start doing my tap movements with my feet, and nobody around me knows that I'm tap dancing, but I'm just listening to the noises around me and just tapping my feet to call it the rhythm of the world, and I'm dancing. So today my business is Dance Space LLC, because in whatever space you are, wherever you are in life, I say free your soul and dance. Everything is a dance floor.
Social dancing, it's a great area to socialize and to get to know other people. And I have to say, to get to know very interesting people. You know, I live in Montreal, Canada. I live in Washington, D.C. And through dance, actually, and socializing through dance, I met really very exciting people, because they're also looking for the same things, you know, to express, to hear music, of the love of the music and the desire to socialize. And I think we live in a time, and I think especially here in the States, that, you know, there's very little contact physically with people unless you live in New York in a crowded subway or something like that.
Can you come do a show with us at Summerfest? I was like, whoa! Like, yeah, I'm gonna do a show with you at Summerfest. So I got on the stage and I danced for like 2 minutes. Then I got off, and then he paid me $20 for dancing that. And I was like, you mean you can get paid $20 for dancing 2 minutes? I'm like, I wanna do that. And I'm having the best time of my life. I'm like, I'm gonna do that.
There's so many positive benefits to dancing. When I first started, I thought for me dance was impossible because I'm not the most coordinated person. I'm a little clumsy. I learn very differently, so it takes me a while to pick up on technique and steps and even count. But if I look back from where I was 2.5 years ago and where I am now, you know, dance is possible, and it's like a therapy too, and it's almost healing. And what I've noticed is a lot of people that get into dance, they get into it for several reasons. Some get into it because they're going through life events, they're transitioning, and they're maybe going through a divorce or breakup. It's a great community too. What I found is the dance community is very welcoming and it's such an uplifting environment. So I've connected with a lot of new people and it's just been a positive experience. I think that once you move your body and your emotion, if you're like feeling down or depressed, you know, it's a great way to just kind of pick yourself back up.
After dancing for 25 years, I've decided that I want to get even deeper into the music, which is now why I DJ. Every space you are, however you are feeling in life, wherever you are in life, I believe you can free your soul and dance. And you move through the music. The music should invite you to move.
Looking for dance in a way, I think they're looking for that contact. I think somehow they're missing that interaction, and probably that's why it's so appealing. I think that's why probably tango was so appealing to so many people.
Panama, dance is what we do every day. So it's part of our culture. So people not necessarily pay for it, right? So in here, I thought there was a necessity for that. And one, I could get compensated for it. Two, people need what we do. Dance is like food. You eat, you dance, you hear music. That's what you do. And people grow up doing that all their lives. But here, it's like you barely know your neighbors. Dance it's not necessarily part of the culture.
Because music is an expression of our innermost feelings. If we're having a great day, if we're having a stressful day, we're gonna bring that to the dance floor. And I want to help people free themselves from those stresses. And music can do that for us when done in the right way.
But in tango too, there is an area that I don't see in other partnering dances, that there is a stretching of the time too. So the men can stretch the speed of movement and slow down and give the woman a time in which she can add to the dialogue, and she's not actually being led, but she's also expressing herself.
Yeah. Dancing, like I said, movement makes me feel better. Dancing to me feels like a little mini celebration that you get to have, and with other people it's even better because you're all in the same party. So I think for me, it's natural in the Wisconsin winters to get pretty down. I think it's normal, and then once you get moving, you see everyone smiling and in a better mood. I know that after every session or every social event, I feel better.
Wisconsin has Latin dance? What? Most people are like, what are you doing in Wisconsin? I'm like, we need to dance. It's especially cold here. Like, these people need to dance. Dance is especially good for short people. Yeah, you can travel to the floor faster. You can fall and recover quickly, and you can be lifted. You know, it's the one dance, it's the one sport that we belong.
Earlier this year, I was on an airplane, and I enjoy teaching, but I wanted to get even closer to the music. So out of the middle of nowhere, a voice told me, be a DJ, get even closer. And so then I started thinking about it, and I've played instruments my whole life, piano, trombone, violin, cello, and I needed to just get more into the music. And so that little voice in your head, if you listen to it, is telling you where you should be in life. It's like living out your personal legend, if I could say that. And you know when your path is right. The universe is going to align to bring those things into play for you when you're on your right path.
Since I started dancing, I feel a lot more energetic. I'm a lot more happier, and it's improved my mood greatly. So it helps balance my mood. It's a great social outlet. So I've met a lot of friends and connected with a lot of new people. I've also, like with music too, it's just like you hear music, you just want to get up and dance, and you just are, you're just happy. And I don't know, it's a feeling that you get addicted to too. It's a high, and there's so many things to get addicted to, but I mean, why not get addicted to dance when it's so positive?
I like how you can see when a dancer, see like they have rhythm and they just have that presence too a little bit. And I thought as I get older, I want to have good posture. I want to be more well-rounded as a person. And so I think dance is another way for me to kind of get in touch with my body and make sure that I'm working all of the areas. So if you just do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get weaknesses in other areas. So I thought this is another way to expand my movement.
I injured my knee about 3 years ago. I fractured my kneecap. I fell. It's just a fall. I fell. I was in I was in a cast for a month, and I was so worried because dancing is so much a part of my life. And I thought, oh, am I going to be able to dance when I get this cast off? And I could, and it made me feel so good. I was so afraid, because this is my social life. This is my love. This is my exercise. This is my everything. It's just everything to me.
Actually, there have been many works and research that have done, for example, with tango and Parkinson's disease, and neurological diseases in Argentina too, in one hospital. And actually this teacher that I mentioned, Rodolfo Dinsel, he was one of the avant-garde in using tango, just like you mentioned, for socializing too, for people that have learning disabilities and Down syndrome. He taught them tango so they could have a way to socialize, and they would do their milongas. And actually I had a chance to, in his studio, to dance with some of those people. So it was a way, there are different aspects. One is the socialization, but also scientifically today there are many research done with tango with Parkinson's disease and other neurological diseases, because it works on the body movement control and balance. Tango requires a lot of balance, like any dance, but tango I think is one of the ones that when you lose your balance is very obvious.
A lot today, it's becoming more and more popular for people that are working with clients with neurologic diseases such as Parkinson's or post-strokes, that they're asking their clients and multiple sclerosis to begin dancing, specifically ballroom and salsa dancing, partner dancing, which has been shown to improve their body coordination, also their balance, and also their self-esteem and their depression overall as they're dealing with an illness.
I think it's addictive because it releases very positive emotions and feelings. I mean, some people get high when they dance or when they work out, and I think that because of the physical activity and you're moving so much, and you can't help but be happy. You're moving. When you're sitting still, sometimes you sit there and you think, and with dance, you think too, but once you get to a point where you learn how to dance and you don't have to think about it and you're just feeling it, it's such an incredible feeling.
You cannot be assertive in your movements if you're doubting, if you're afraid of making a mistake. You know, one of other teacher famous that I have, Mingo Pugliese, a master teacher, he told one time Jacques, my partner, you cannot doubt in tango. Do something and then you see how you resolve it. But don't doubt, you have to go and do something. So tango, you know, takes you into action. So if you're a person that self-doubt, and we see it with the students, that self-doubts, that, you know, it's inhibiting, that cannot attack the movement, that is scared, you know, the tango is gonna force you to work on that, because otherwise you're not gonna dance at all.
First of all, you have to stay present, because when you're dancing, you're not thinking about, oh, I have to do this tomorrow, I forgot to put this here. So you're really not, you don't have the time to be in the past or to be in the future. You have to be right now. So that's the most important way of being. And dance puts you there.
What I would suggest is taking a group lesson and an introductory class, and just picking like 1 or 2 dances to learn, and just dropping in and just trying it and see how you feel. You cannot go wrong, you know, just trying something. Don't be scared, like don't be afraid to try anything new. There's nothing to lose. There's more to gain than lose. And if you end up not liking it and you decide that it's not for you, and you know, you can try something else. But for me, I want everybody to be able to feel like the feelings that I feel, because I feel like it really enriches your life.
In the United States, it's, you know, every place you go in the world, you can check, and I'm sure you're gonna find some tango place to do. In Milwaukee, there's the Tango Milwaukee Society, and we teach here too with my husband Jacques. We do classes here, and today this Milonga. And but Tango Society also offers classes and practices, and the community really welcomes everybody. You were talking about sometimes feeling intimidating, and I have to say that this will be the place to come, because people are very positive, and they want to welcome everybody new in the community. So if somebody is afraid to try, the Milwaukee community would be a very good community to try.
You know, that is the other thing I really don't agree with. It's that, you know, some Latinos are like, oh, you know, I'm Latino, it's in my blood. Not true. We do have a huge advantage because we see it all our lives, you know. But you can tell an African American person and a white person that they don't have that same flavor, because they pick it up just like this too, you know. So it's like, not because you are one race, you are born with this gift. You know, we do have some advantage because we see it so much, but everybody is able to learn. To dance, Latin dance, it keeps you diverse and knowledgeable and connected. 2, it keeps your body in the most beautiful way. I mean, your blood flow is going, your joints are moving, which makes you live better and longer years, quality longer years. It moves your thoughts, and not only that, it's like your spirit and your matter come together, and that's like the most beautiful state of being.
Well, one of the things is you have to find what you love. Find the dance that you love, because there's so many different types of dancing. There's swing and tango and ballroom, and everything. So find the one that you love. Find the one that you love, and then take some lessons, and then go out and dance those lessons. You have to dance the lessons, because that's how you get the confidence and the love. You know, because if you just take a lesson, you'll never learn. You've got to dance that dance. So, but I mean, I've been in ballet, jazz, tap, ballroom, oh yeah, a lot. East Coast swing, West Coast swing, Argentinian tango, belly dancing. It's just my love. It's my love. I'm a freak.
There's a lot of technique in serious dancing, but the wonderful thing about dancing is you can get involved in dancing at just a social level, and you can experience moving your body and enjoying moving with the music, and it doesn't take a lot of technique to have a lot of fun in a social aspect. So I don't want to scare people away from dancing thinking that it's too difficult or that it's dangerous, because it's really very beneficial to the health.